Hey
Mhm.
everyone, today we have a specific topic somehow related to the business side, or even like more related to the core service of doing architectural visualization. Um, Today's guest is Matteo Ferrari. Some of you know him, and he started from a studio, and is going to introduce himself. I just need to mention why I brought him to this topic because, like, one of the biggest, um, I would say, struggles or challenges in the business side of ArcViz is like we think too much into the images, 3D animation, like virtual tool, whatever it is, and we get stuck into the technical things. Like, and after 1 or 2 weeks, we lose really track where we are. And like, if this is from the client's perspective, is well perceived or not. And sometimes, like, you do a job and you are really happy about it. After 1 month, someone else say, "Oh, you know what? It's normal image. Maybe it's like a wide angle image, and you are very happy about it. You have a lot of details, a lot of things, and from external eye, they don't really value it as you value it. That's why I brought Matteo because he is offering something special. We don't have it in ArcViz. Maybe we have it on a smaller scale, like some sort of like a byproduct to some courses, but like he's looking to make it as a definite service or like a separate service, and he's looking to make something about providing feedback in ArcViz. I would say a structured and constructive feedback. That's why he is today. Matteo, thank you very much for your time. It's a great pleasure to have you on the live stream. Um, for anyone who doesn't really know you, would you mind please introducing yourself and what
Sure
you
thing.
do?
Yeah, yeah, of course. First off, thank you very much for having me. It's always nice. For everyone that knows me, great. Otherwise, my name is Matteo Ferrari, and I am the founder and creative director of Forma Studio. It's a relatively small visualization studio based in Italy, with of like people working remotely as well. We work like 90% of the studios globally. So we don't have really a one place. We work from all over the places. As you said, like literally, you did a very long introduction and you covered 90% of the things I wanted to say. So I kind of I'm running out of things here, but
Yeah, all good.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
yeah. I
all
think
good.
we're gonna go through the conversation and
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit like about your background. How did you start your ArcViz
yeah.
journey? I mean, when was that, and how did you evolve to come up with Forma Studio?
Yeah. So I am a licensed architect, like most of you guys. During architecture, I realized that doing architecture per se wasn't really my thing. What I really enjoyed doing was 3D, was sketching, was the artistic side of architecture. So that's why I kind of moved a little bit away from architecture, designing, laws, regulations, and let's say the boring aspects of architecture. And I decided to do a few trainings. So I went to the State of Art Academy. I I purchased a bunch of online courses and tutorings and coachings along the years. Then I moved to UK, where I lived for uh, almost 6 years. And in the UK, I realized that Archviz, uh, pass me the term, but architectural illustration was a niche, was an industry. I almost didn't know up until I moved to UK. I started working for different companies, to name a few: Cityscape Digital, Archi9. I did a lot of freelance work, and then after a few years, I decided to move back to Italy for plenty of reasons. But let's say that COVID gave the boost to move back to our hometown. And when I moved back, I always had this dream of building my own company, building my own studio, and I didn't really know what to expect. So, in the process of building my own studio, I also decided to start freelancing. Let's not forget that it was a pandemic. So, nothing was open, no offices were open, especially where I live here. We don't really have any office. So, I decided to start working with other companies. I did work with a bunch of different companies, Pixel Flakes, Factory 15, Atelier 78, a bunch of others. And it gave me the confidence, in a way, to start my own thing like for real. I was really in that sort of uncertainty stage, but everyone was really happy with the work I was doing, and I was really busy. I was extremely busy, booked all the time. So I decided to, this is my comfort zone again now. Let's try to change something. And instead of changing bits and pieces, I went all in. So I stopped completely doing freelance work and I moved into the agency. So started my own company called Forma Studio. Challenges, obviously, like every studio owners or every freelancer knows this, but working by yourself is extremely challenging. And I go back to one of the things you said earlier, because you get attached to the work you do, and leaving that concept behind when you start is a nightmare. It's extremely difficult. um, it's almost like a constant fight between your ego and your artistic skill set, because your ego usually get attached to the image. Your artistic thing is like, no, that's shit, literally, that's bad, you cannot deliver anything like this to the client. But the ego still is attached to the image because you spent countless hours on that piece, and you're not really sure you deliver, you don't deliver. So looking back, and we will talk about this today, but that bubble of doubt is what made me realize that being a good artist is not just the meaning of skill set, but it's more of a mindset thing. So you really have to fight yourself on multiple levels, and having someone accountable for giving you pointers, in my experience, it's always been the best solution possible, like
Yeah,
feedback and a revision, or your teammates that can have a fresh eye. Again, we get attached. We are humans. We get attached to the pieces we create. So yeah, I think that covers a little bit the basis of where I'm from and where we're gonna go with the conversation today. Let's say.
yeah, great, thank you. Um, to what you said about being attached to the image, I remember I made an interview with Tio, the founder of Hydra Visuals, and I told him, like, walk me through how did you start? I mean, did that happen that you said, okay, I'm going to make an office, a studio? And he said, I was working on my own all the time. Everything was working well, nice, until like one day he couldn't really like manage all the workload. So he wanted to hire artists, and he had like a lot of work he couldn't handle himself, and he calculated he needed like two artists. Now there are three artists, and those people don't really know what is in Theo's head and
Mm-hmm.
how he would like to do the images. So what he did, like, in 2 days, he put on paper his workflow and everything he was doing, and he said, Anis, if anyone is looking to make a studio, the goal is to quit making images. That's the only way you can really succeed. So you can get away from making images. You can see it. You can provide feedback for your team. And running a business is not exactly the same thing as doing the images.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. So today's topic is about feedback, and we promised like anyone who is looking for a feedback on their images, they can simply paste it inside or comment it in on the LinkedIn. I'm just going to go through LinkedIn because like on this platform I don't see the comments.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We have I think a comment from LinkedIn from Ralph. Hey, Ralph.
It off.
Um, so, Gabor, hi everyone. Hi. I'm Ahmed Amir, the kings of Argvis LinkedIn, all in one place. Oh, amazing. Oh, we are missing Fabio. Yeah. And Dayan, yeah, thanks for the feedback. My mic is a lot more quieter than Matthew's. Yeah, let me.
Told ya.
Yeah,
Told ya.
Mario, yes, it's going to be recorded. It is recorded. I mean, anything live, it stays on the web, but like it won't be edited. But it stays. Yeah, perfect. Let me see if we have any other comment. We don't. Um, so as we mentioned, I think, I mean, give me a feedback if my voice is better now, Dayan. So we already have a delay as well in time, in like streaming time.
Yeah, but that's usual,
Mm.
as far as I remember.
Okay, perfect. So the first thing I remember, like seeing you in the last year, I think. Okay, you said anyone who is looking to get feedback on their images, copy paste it inside the comments. And I think that post, I got notification from LinkedIn around like 3 times saying, "Oh, people are interacting with this post. Oh, look at
Yeah.
it." And I said, "Wow, great." I mean,
That's funny because the that was a test. Like literally that was a test run for me. I had this idea in mind of, you know, everyone says that, but sharing is caring, right? So
mm,
I didn't do that on like with long term purposes. I did it because I in that same day I received three messages from people. Sorry, the day before, I
mm,
received three messages from people asking for a review of their work. Now, anytime I can, I'm happy to, you know, send back a pointer or two, like do this, do
mm,
that very quickly. But I also know that I don't really have the time to reply to everyone. That's why if any one of you didn't get a reply from me, I'm sorry. I really am. It's not on bad faith. It's just because replying to everyone would be a nightmare. Uh, and so that gave me like the idea of, okay, let's carve out 1 hour and let's see what happens. Like maybe no one will join. And I was surprised because I received messages for like a week or two with
yeah,
people constantly sending images. It was like, guys, let's make another one in 2 weeks or something. And it was funny because it's like, again, if you don't know the project or if you
mm,
don't know the images, it comes really easy to give
yeah,
feedback. And this is in image making. For you, probably is the same thing when we talk about business and you are an external um, partner or consultant, let's say. It gets easy for you to, you know, put pointers and do more of this, do more of that. But when you are in the deep work, you forget the basics sometimes. And this is kind of the idea evolved a little bit to what I'm
yeah,
trying to do now.
absolutely, absolutely. So, so after this, okay, I remember like you started some initiative. Okay, you made a course about art direction,
Yeah.
and that was for me an eye opener. I said, art direction. We don't really have this, I would say, position in the industry, but it's hugely important.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about this course and what happened now. How is it something you are looking to, I mean, integrate with the community? So he has, I mean, Matteo is going to announce his community soon,
Mm-hmm.
but like, yeah, I would love to know more about this.
So I'll make it really like quick. Um, I started to like I did create a training, and as you said, it's a training not on technical aspects of the image making, because if you go on YouTube and you search 3D whatever, I have a problem with this, I have a problem with that, you find a solution. Like you find so many technical videos on YouTube or anywhere, to be honest,
Mm,
that it's too easy to find a solution. It takes 2 minutes. But what is lacking, it's more on how to think about an image, how to think about the approach you need to take when you create an image, or the basic compositional rules. You would be surprised to know how many people don't really know how to compose an image. This comes from photography or painting. It's a little bit of study, yes, but it changes completely the image you're gonna create. So I created a training and I started selling it on Gumroad. But then at the same time, I went back to the problem that I was facing, that it's the accountability. Now, you can take a training. I did in the past, a bunch of them, like so many. I still remember, I bought one on Gobbletree. I think it was a Gobbletree thing. And it was really interesting, but it left me with, technical aspects. I didn't want that. So the step that's missing in my mind is to build this accountability community. So it's going to be a community. Um, it's going to be a paid community. Sorry, I want to highlight this because it's another important element, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to follow along with that. Divided in multiple things. It's going to be a coaching for specific people that need specific things. Let's say a studio or a freelancer that's delivering a project, and they want to make sure that as the project will meet exactly the quality the client needs. And this is going to be more of a training and coaching sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And then there will be an actual community where you're going to have a mini course as an introduction to give you all the basics to be in the community. So it's like a breakthrough of what will happen in a community, what you need to do, and the training you need to have before joining a community. The community itself, the community will be where we join once a week. We sit, we review each other's work, but it's not a place, and I think this is probably the topic of today. It's not a place where you go and you get your project completely ripped off or destroyed, or the comments are going to be awful. It's a it's a safe space in a way, but where people can share, get insights from others, and at the same time being on top of their own work. So once a week we sit together, we have each other's back. We try to make sure that work grows over time and the quality grows over time. Otherwise, it's pointless to be in the community. And then the last thing that will be part of the community, it's going to be a chat. A chat, again, last minute thing. You want to have a fresh look at your work, you can paste it there. It's not going to be live probably, but as soon as possible, you're going to get a reply, or you have feedback, you have questions, you find a really cool tutorial and you want to share it with everyone. This, it's that group of artists that putting it together, it's not that easy. Like, even the topic of providing feedback and receiving feedback, it's not as easy as it sounds. Every freelancer knows this, and I go back to my previous point, but being on yourself is extremely, extremely hard. I've been there. I know it's very, very complex. And then the art direction course that it's already published and it's already live, it will be an additional thing. Whoever wants it, it will be an additional thing. If you want it, it's great. It's actually, I got really good feedback from it. So I truly believe it's a valuable tool. But if not, it will stay as an additional thing, let's say. Did I answer? Because I kind of got
Yeah.
lost in the...
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, so just to summarize, um, your next steps toward the ArcViz industry, you have, I would say, the community that's going to be maybe paid, maybe not that high ticket, and you have on top of that the coaching thing for a specific project. And I have an example for this. I will tell you about it. I also have example about the first thing, the community, the effect of it, because we already have some sort of this inside our community, the
Mm-hmm.
roadmap,
Mm-hmm.
and the last one is the course.
Yeah.
There is let's start with the community. I remember like when you were providing feedback to that two posts.
Yeah.
I went through them. I went through the images. Look, I was a 3D artist. I'm not that perfect. I'm not Mir. I'm not even. I mean, when I see your work, I feel thankful to leaving the industry. so, but like usually, like when I see the image, I feel like there is something missing, but I couldn't really name it in words. And when I see your comment, one, two, three, four, oh my God, this guy has like a huge clarity about how to make an image. And then I see, oh, maybe it's only this image. And I see the next comment and I see it. This guy must have some sort of workflow, like step by step, or maybe like just 1 to 10, how to evaluate an image. And you go through it always like this. I feel like when someone is like getting reviews in that direction, it will be very easy for them to like to figure out if this is
Mm-hmm.
good or bad. To the same point, I remember like when I started learning 3D. Okay, I mean I started learning 3D when we had the scan line. Okay, like, there was nothing called V-Ray, see, and we needed always to make an omni light,
Yeah.
like as a general illumination, and one spotlight. So the spotlight does not really become too harsh. Okay, and the teacher, I mean the one who taught me this, I mean I didn't know YouTube at that time, so he came to my house and he gave me the tips. And every like 3 days he will come back and he will see what I did and he will try to correct me in terms of image making and in terms of technical side as well.
Mm-hmm.
That was around 3 months. I learned a lot, and just because of this, it was like a summertime in my country. Just because of that, I was able immediately to make images and get paid for this. If I compare it to my other skills, I would say in V-Ray or different plugins, I was always in doubt. Okay, where should I go? I mean, or I get really lost into YouTube videos and tips and tricks,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone is making settings in different way, and everyone is like starting their numbers with different ways, and then I really lose sight. I mean, so what is needed for this image? Where should I really make more inputs? And I
Yeah.
started to ask my friends. Those are not architects, not 3D artists, just to see how they perceive the image.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's saying, yeah, it's a nice image. You see, yeah, my friend, tell me like more specific
Yeah.
details.
Yeah.
I know it is nice. Yeah, it is colorful, but like, so that was one thing. I mean, I really feel like this community is going to be great. You can also notice it in our community, the roadmap. I don't provide image making help, but like maybe sometimes you are there, different people are there as well. They will show an image, and or maybe we are making the portfolio or the website, and we are choosing the images. And sometimes we do have great images, but like it's missing one thing. And I give it like to the artist, say, hey, look, can you add this? I mean, they can do it in 1 day or even less than a couple of hours because they had this feedback. Do this, do that. Instead of like sitting,
Mm-hmm.
looking, I don't know, where should I start? So that is regarding the community. Regarding the coaching, in 2021, I had a client, a studio. They got a big project, and they needed to make images and 3D animation. And they said, "Hey, Anis, do you have an idea about how we should go through this project? It is massive. We do have a tight deadline." I told them, guys, I mean, I left 3D not because I don't like it, because I'm not good at it. Okay, so um, you need to find someone who is really experienced, and they paid for a studio, another studio, to help them in how to, I mean, in the art direction for that project. And that studio, I mean, they paid for 2 sessions, and that was somehow enough for them to navigate the project. That was also like an eye opener for me. I mean, we don't really have this like um, consultant or a coach, someone that is helping you on a continuous basis to improve your images. You see, I do believe like anyone who is like really looking to take their business or quality to the next step, they do need to have like this support. I mean, courses are great. Okay, you can watch them. I can tell you like I spend money on courses more than what I earned. See, I really don't know even what is the login link to this course. But the point is, but like I do remember all the coaching sessions. For example, I have a
Mm.
coach. She taught me about how to write content. Okay, that was 2021. I never forget her. Okay, it was only 6 months. Okay, and she gave me the steps and gave me like direct feedback. Do this, do that. Don't try this, don't try that. And I never forget her. At the same time, I do have paid more than I paid her for courses that
Mm.
I mean, I never finished. So the course and the community and the coaching are really two great things.
Mm.
Let me see on LinkedIn if we have any questions.
Yep.
Gabriele, hi. Gabriele, like,
Hey.
um, so we don't have questions. No, everyone is happy with their images. No one is looking to get feedback.
That's
Okay,
good.
that's
That's
good.
good. I
Yeah.
mean, this is was one of the things I wanted to touch on when you explained a little bit your backstory and that you asked feedback for your images to someone completely external. I still do it to this day. I don't ask just the team, but sometimes I go home and I share on the phone or whatever to my wife. Sometimes even my kids. It's like, what you guys think? If they understand an image or the story, even on the phone, on the thumbnail, for example, it means the base of the image is there. And then you can go into the details and refinement and that all that thing. And it's fine, that's great because the image will gonna get a lot better. But still asking that feedback, it it's a mandatory thing for me.
Yeah.
It's internally in the studio. We always do it. It doesn't matter if I do an image or Hamed is doing an image or whoever is doing an image. We exchange feedbacks because otherwise it would be like a completely pointless process. I think the community is not meant just for solo artists. It can be from artists that feels a little bit stuck in their own head, and it doesn't really need to be a commitment for years to come. It doesn't. It's not meant for that. It's meant for a true help for people that get stuck in their own routine because
Yeah.
everyone gets stuck in the routine. Like we 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 end up doing it. We're in a comfort zone. We have the process, and the process is always the same.
Mm.
Why changing it? I don't want to do it. I get attached to it, but at the same time, the quality will get hurt independently. So I think a community like this, it's something that's not gonna take too much of your work, but in return will give you a lot of um, trust in your own work, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
So
So, Matteo, I do have a question that is like, um, I do would like, I'm not great at making images. Okay, I do photography. I like photography, but I really struggle myself in how to provide a constructive feedback because, like, you have many types of feedback. You have like useful feedback and unuseful feedback. Someone is saying, "Oh, you know what? You need to color grade this image." Oh, thank you very much. I was looking for this like since years. What do you mean by that? Could you give me like a book to explain this? I mean, what should I start with?
yeah,
And you have another guy saying, "Hey, look, the image is great. Maybe the red is like too much here, or you need to reduce saturation." I don't know. Um, how do you go through evaluating an image?
how this is a bigger question. We should break it down in 5 different steps, but the big answer is that there are comments that are, um, how can I say, like you give comments because you can, like you don't really dive deep into the solution. So
Mm.
you give a problem, additional problem to the artist, but you don't provide a solution. Like the image is bright. Yeah. Okay. So what? So should I make it darker? Should I
Yeah.
frame it? And then you'll see that. Should I add a person in the foreground to drive the eye towards something? Should I change the sky because maybe the sky is too bright, but the image itself is not? Should I change the color because the
Mm.
color changed the lightness of an image? Should I change the composition? Maybe the composition is because the side of the building is in front of me and the side gets the light. This is a different feedback. The feedback, like per se, like I give a feedback because it's I can. It's awful, and
Mm.
no one likes it. I
Yeah.
don't. But any artist in the world that gonna receive a feedback like this image is good, great. And why would I ask a feedback then? I just I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
tell that myself. So when I read an image, I and this is something I learned years ago, but I always take the image from the big scale to the small scale, or the big brush to the small brush. Now, the small
Mm.
brush is the very last thing you should be worried about. So the pixel perfection, or the perfect shadow under the foot of a person, or the perfect grading of a curtain that inside of a building that's like a mile away. I don't care. Literally, that's not making an impact in the overall illustration. What makes an impact is the angle, is the composition, is the story, is the lighting, is the even the color balance, for example. Those are elements that makes a big impact in an illustration. So I start from those, and then I go deeper, and then I go deeper, and then I check the colors, and then I check the textures, and then I check the position of the people, and then I check, so on and so forth. But when people look at an image, everyone reads image differently. There are people that read images from left to right, or vice versa, top to down, vice versa. What I like doing is put the image as small as I can, like a thumbnail, and look at the whole frame. If the whole frame works, I enlarge it and I look at it closer, and then I enlarge it again, and then I really go into the details of this, that, this, and then you can go on for hours and hours. But missing the big brush, you just compromise the illustration from the get-go, let's say. So I think to answer your question, how I do usually provide feedback is like this. I take an image and I look at it for a few seconds, and then I start giving my comments, but I provide the solution. Like,
Mm.
why don't we try to do the frame that is a little bit darker and the foreground that is a little bit darker? Why? Because it will lead the eye in. Why don't we change the composition to have more of a smooth form? Why? Because it provides more of an
Mm.
enclosure. Why don't we place a person in the third? Because it complements the building that's a far third. So, like, giving feedback is extremely difficult, and this is some. Let me tell you a backstory. I don't even know if you know that, but I'm a tennis instructor. I did play tennis for
Really? I don't
yeah,
know that.
yeah. I played tennis for
Why
like
don't you have it as on your about? You must have it. I mean, it's really great.
who cares if I'm a tennis
No one cares. It's
instructor? It's
like,
like
I mean, an instructor, it means like they are disciplined. You
yeah,
teach
yeah. But
people.
that's the point. That's exactly the point. So I played tennis for ages, and I always liked teaching. I did. I always enjoyed that a lot. What taught me patience and how to provide feedback was teaching kids under 5.
Oh.
That was difficult. It was extremely challenging, but it taught me so much. I still apply that today on the work we do, because A kid is literally without a filter, zero whatsoever. And they tell you whatever they want. So if you provide them a feedback that it's wrong, they will tell you. Or if they provide you a feedback that it's not clear for them, they will tell you. And in the same way, if you provide a feedback that is clear and simple to understand, you make people's life a lot easier. And it's not that easy to do, but it makes a massive difference when you provide and when you receive feedbacks, because you know the other side. So it is, I think, learning how to train kids was a lifesaver. If I look back now, it's been a great challenge, but a great experience too. So yeah.
Great, great. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, we should discuss it. This thing should be even like on your LinkedIn. You need to talk about it. Uh, we have a project that needs a review. Are you ready to provide feedback?
Yeah, I am. Of course I am.
Okay. So I got a message from Muhammad Tufail,
Hmm.
and Muhammad is looking for a feedback on this project. So this is the project,
Hmm.
Interspace, Corporate Office. This is his Behance. And so we have this image, we have this image, we have this, those three.
Okay. Yeah. How should we do it? Like, should I share the screen or should I just give pointers without even like explaining?
I mean, share it from your point of view now. Just
Yeah.
give him like um, some,
So
yeah,
in all of,
bullet
like,
points.
if, like, for example, in this case, we do have more than one image. So what I like doing is placing them all. Like, I know we won't do it today.
Mm.
Like, we won't do it now, but having them all, it will
Yeah.
tell a little bit of a storyline. A storyline meaning there's something that works in all of them. The
Mm.
colors, the tones, the vibe, the moods, and things like this. If, for example, if we go back to the first one,
Mm-hmm.
this one, this is the first thing that catches my eye is a little bit of reflection on the right hand side and the background on the left hand side. So
Mm.
I get extremely distracted from both of them, because if I do this and I kind of isolate them like without seeing it, the project itself is a little bit clearer. Again, keep in mind that when you look at an image like this, if I go back into the back of the room there and I look at it, the first thing I would see is the window on the right hand side at
Also,
the very
yeah.
end of the corner and the window on the left hand side. Why? Because they are the brightest points. Bright usually means that my eye will go straight there, like
Mm.
instantly. And this can be a good thing, but it can also be a very hurtful thing for the image. So if you squint your eye, you should see, you should understand first what is the main element here
Yeah,
to
yeah.
describe. Maybe it's the window. I wouldn't think so, at least. But doing it, it gives me already like a lot of ideas on how to solve it. Like placing something or closer, move the camera slightly closer, or make the windows completely black and maybe it's a night shot, or make the windows slightly darker. So in this way, you kind of build up on big picture first. So what is distracting? The windows on the edges. What can be improved? How to drive the eye towards the center of the image? Because again, I believe the center is the story. So maybe the screen that you have at the back of the wall could project some sort of headline for the studio, or it can be part of the design. So maybe it's a meeting room, and let's say that this is an office. I guess this is an office. Maybe it's a branded office for someone. The brand can be in that window, in that TV or in that screen, and that can be like a first thing that the client would see. So you see, like, if you want, you can go back to, like, you can move towards the other ones, and I can give this the same concept. But even this, if I squint my eye, two chairs are really bright in the foreground and the window is very bright. So they're kind of competing. And again, here, what are you trying to describe? Is it, I can understand what you're trying to describe, but it's a little bit too complicated to understand on a first glance. So what is this? Like, is it a meeting room again, the hero, or is it the outside area with the two chairs and the table? It's a little bit hard to understand. Um, if we go into the materials, they look good overall, but it's, to me here, it's more about how to frame an image. It's very heavy at the top and at the bottom. Sorry, it's very empty at the top and at the bottom, while at the center of the image is extremely dense of information. So everything is a little bit competing. So probably that's the first thing I would change in a way. And the last one, the colorful one, this one I like because you have a lot of reminding colors and pointing colors. But as we said earlier, the edges are distracting usually. Like if you have something on the left that is extremely bright, like the window, and extremely colorful, like the branded glass, it can be distracting. So I would really, for all of them, I would really try to play a little bit more with the lighting. And composition is, here and the first one, central composition. So you cannot really do much about it. What you can do is play with the lighting to drive the eye wherever you want. So in this case, yeah, I would just play in overall the three images with a little bit different lighting.
Yeah, thank you. That
No
was
worries.
great.
No worries, it's a pleasure. Did this? I hope that was not too harsh as a feedback, Mohammed.
Um, yeah, give us your feedback, Mohammed. I mean, we need to see if this was helpful for you.
He's gone. He's like, it's never gonna
No,
gonna watch
no
us
way. It was
again.
the last time I shared my image. Yeah, Damian, thanks for the reminder because like I keep getting away from my microphone. Okay, now I think it's better. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you agree with me on this. Um, regarding the images we shared now, and I mean we saw now, you see like we have two images that are some sort of 3D facade, 3D elevation, and we have one image that is real 3D. I would say it's like zoomed in. Okay, if you are taking a photo with a camera, it could be like 70 millimeter or 100
Mhm.
millimeter. The thing is, in reality, the clients don't, I mean, this image, we understand it because we are architects. The client, if the client is an architect, they understand it, but the end client would like to see a perspective, a 3D thing, you see. Something is, I mean, somehow not everything is in the same scale. You see,
Mhm.
like this leads maybe to your comment with having layers or maybe different types of like sizes. And you mentioned one big thing, which is the main goal of the image, is to show blank. I mean, it wasn't clear. Is it the chairs, the table? I mean, I felt like it's more images for furniture more than the space.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even like the last one, the ceiling, it was like very distracting with those all the lights and everything. But anyway, I mean, those are comments,
Yeah,
not
yeah, but I think this goes back to understanding the project, because maybe this was,
yeah, yeah.
again, I think was an office fit out or an office furbishing view. So I would imagine that yes, the space is important, but it's more about how people will perceive the space and how they will live the space. But at the same time, it gave me the feedback of, it gave me the feeling of, it's more about furnishing. So it's more about furnitures. Maybe it's a furniture brand that needs that sort of style. Understanding the project is the first thing, and you saw that it was my first question. What's the project about? Because without knowing the project, it's really hard to provide a feedback. So
Mm.
yeah, I
Yeah,
I hope
Mohammed
I
said,
answered.
thank you, Matteo, very insightful.
Okay, cool. That's good.
That's great. So I do have another topic. Okay, so um, if you would name, I would say, I'm happy to reshare the images. If you would name one thing, the first thing that he should work on, and I think you mentioned the lighting, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, what again? This is something we do with as well with our clients, but asking question, it's the only thing to provide the proper feedback. Because again, maybe you're saying that furnishing are and furnitures are the only thing that matters in the space. I would still play with the lighting, but also I would play with the composition, closer, longer lenses, more vignette styles or lifestyle shots, more closer in based on the furniture. Furnitures are literally, we don't give a clue. Great, it's about the space. Make it wider. Take a step back. 20 millimeters, 25 millimeters. Sometimes it's exactly what you need. But at the same time, 25 millimeters means that you're going to have a lot more space to cover. So you're going to have to fill out the space with different furnitures, a story, different levels, different layers. But you can achieve the same with the lighting. Imagine a night shot with a nice chandelier on the furnitures and the office is completely dark, like all the surrounding are dark, you get the exact same kind of solution. So you can achieve the same with multiple options. It's more about the project and what you want to convey. So yeah, a little bit the community is a part of the community is because
Yeah.
otherwise I cannot really provide the exact feedback. I can tell you, yeah, the composition is completely wrong, but that's bad feedback. We
Yeah,
go
yeah,
back to the
absolutely.
this is a bad feedback. I don't provide you a solution. I provide you a problem or something
Yeah,
that's not working.
absolutely. I mean, this is very important to know the goal of the project or the goal of the images. What are we looking to show?
Mm,
Yeah, based on this, maybe you can provide the personalized feedback.
mm-hmm.
Let me. That's the thing about LinkedIn. I have the live stream open, and I need to refresh the page each time I need to look for another comments. Yeah, just a
Yeah,
second.
me too. I was looking at it now, but yeah, I have the same problem.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let me then move to the next question. So basically, if we are talking about your community, and you said that it's going to be there should be like a chat in the community. There should be like a weekly meeting, and that meeting will provide them with personalized feedback, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and what else is in the community?
So the idea was to provide before, even before joining a community, a mini course. A mini course is not a mini course without the community, it's pointless. The mini course, it's all about the community. So it's all about how to act, even like how to be polite, how to provide the feedback, how to receive the feedback, what you need to provide when you want feedback. These are small things, but imagine that 10 people join a community of 2 hours. I'm just making it up, right? 10 people want exactly the revisions they're expecting and they need it. But when they provide the image, that when they join, they take longer to explain it. It's we need to make the best out of the time. So the mini course is all about the image making, how to review an image, how to get an image in a good stage. But it's also about how to be in the community, what you need to provide, how to be proactive and what to expect, what I need to expect, what I will provide, and so on. So it will be a little
Yeah,
bit of an introduction, but also it will be all about the um, reading an image, what you need to catch first. So the 10 steps, let's say, big picture, framing, composition, lighting, mood, so on, and
yeah,
then details, textures, and so on and so on and so on.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Um, regarding providing feedback, I had a question. I listed my questions. How to provide feedback without having like this harsh criticism, tonality, you see. And I remember like I don't remember when it was, like I think 2021 or 20. So I joined a copywriting course, our community, not a course. So the coach in day one, they were like a couple of coaches. Day one, they said, "Here is how to provide feedback." And this and the one said, "Well, we are here for you to provide us with feedback." And he said, "Yes, I know, but like you are many people, once you get engaged with each other, everyone is going to ask the other one, what do you think about my copy? Am I writing well? Whatever it is." And he said about one thing, you are all different and no one is writing the same way for the same audience. So it's very tough to provide feedback when you don't know the goal of the copy.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave us like some rules about how to provide nice feedback. So you don't say, "Oh, you know what? The composition is really dead." You just make an image again. Okay, you need to provide a better feedback. Say, "You look, the image is great. We have one, two, three. I love them. Maybe this one could be improved. If you would like to improve it, you can do one, two, three, four." So, and then I
Yeah,
said, "Oh my God, each time I need to provide feedback, I need to make it in this way." But now I'm thankful that I got this because now I can provide better feedback in my community.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
great,
That's
great.
actually a very good point. And one other big thing you said is no, in the copywriting training, no, like not everyone will be in the same industry, and believe it or not, the image and the architectural industry, architectural illustration industry, it's not the same. So the style of Forma Studio is different than other studios as well, and everyone has a style in a way. And again, please nurture that. Don't go straight to copy someone else because it's cool at the moment. No, nurture your own style. But nurturing your own style, it's a lot more difficult than copy someone else's style. Okay, so when you provide and get and receive a feedback, providing that sort of feedback that take this reference and copy it, it's another bad thing. It's really another bad thing because not everyone is making the same image for the same style or maybe the same architecture and so on. So yeah, providing feedback is not that easy. It takes time to learn and to navigate. And yeah, but yeah, I was reading now Muhammad message. I was really worried about sharing my work. Why? We are here for that. You don't have to be worried. It's hopefully I didn't get harsh on you, but the images are great. So it's just a matter of polishing them and making them, you know, a true potential that you can. So
Yeah, I mean, we should also mention that colors, materials, also some sort of lighting, it's all realistic. I mean, it's really nice
mhm.
to look at. Yeah,
Yeah.
just consider rewatching this and maybe improving it. I don't know if Matteo is going to make such a session later after he launches his community, but like um, you can maybe also consider his community later. Matteo, I would like to talk more about the coaching thing.
Yeah.
Um, would you walk me through the cases when an archivist studio might need your help? Because
Yeah.
I'm mentioning this because you mentioned one thing to me in the past. You said it's not only for artists who are working independently. I mean, it could be as well for in-house teams,
Hmm.
or it could be for like maybe a team inside a bigger studio. So if you can, you
Yep.
already made it. I mean, you
Yes.
already made it. You made the two cases.
Yes. Yes. So what I did in the past few years was to both train architects, train 3D artists, solo 3D artists, train 3D artists as a studio, so like a community of artists, part of a studio, an internal team of visualizers internal to architectural studios. So basically, I've seen them all, kinda, but I've seen all the faces of the same coin, let's say. And everyone has a common trait. They get stuck in their own routine. This is common. This is not a bad thing. This is not wrong as well. But you reach a level where, and everyone's been there once at least, but you reach a level where you feel like demotivated, all the images look the same, and stop me if nothing of this rings a bell, but you feel exhausted after working. You don't get the spark of, I'm making an image I'm really proud of. You finish an image, you look at it after 2 minutes, not after 2 days. After 2 minutes, it's like, that's awful. Is this ringing any bell? Because it always happens. Always. It happens to me. It happens to everyone. But the problem is, when you're internal in a studio and everyone has this sort of loop, the images are not getting any better. They get all the same level. You're not improving. Yes, you're finding references, but at the same time, you're just copying them. And we go back to the previous point. So
Yeah.
what happens usually is, when I come on board with them, it's 1-2 sessions usually. And the thing is, it can differ per project basis. But I jump in and I'm an external consultant with them, but I give really strict comments on, this doesn't work. And I'm almost in charge of the image. I'm almost providing the feedback as, this image is not working. Let's start it again. Let's start it together. Let's see it, and let's try to understand how to improve it, how to change it. That's usually the solution for CGI studios. So we sit together. I do part of the art direction properly, but along with them, teaching, explaining, and guiding them. What happens with architectural studios, it's a little bit different. So they have a process and they don't really know if the quality is good. This is usually the case. So for architects, they don't really know. We sit together, we analyze their work or the recent work. For example, we pick 5 case studies, and I do a very deep dive into those case studies, giving pointers, but it's not pointers only one image. It's more about the project as a whole. So these usually are 2 different cases. This is an additional thing that I will launch along with the community, but it will be per project basis. So let's say that you have next week a project, and you want, the client is important, it's new, you really want to hit the nail on the head and make sure that the quality is the top you can. I jump in, and every day, every 2 days, it depends on the schedule, we sit together and we review. I become part of the team for that project. Meaning, you have peace of mind that you will deliver on time, you will deliver great quality, you will do the best you can, and at the same time, you will be trained along the way of change this, composition, lighting, mood, atmosphere, how to do it. Never, and this is a disclaimer for everyone, never on the technical aspects. I will not spend a minute explaining Corona, 3ds Max, Photoshop, or whatsoever. This is not meant, like the community or this, it's not technical. And I don't want to make it technical. So it's something I should have mentioned earlier, but
Yeah, you
I'm
already
not
mentioned.
I'm not a technical person, but it takes time to do technical things. So I don't want to waste your time or anyone's time spending hours explaining the caustics in Corona and how to do them with the lighting and so on. So that's,
So yeah, so this is like this is community is not for anyone who's looking to improve their technical skills
no,
in how to's.
no.
I have two cases. Okay, I think these 2 cases would be great fit for the community. Number one is artists who are getting jobs with already defined cameras. So the client is going to define the camera, and you need to figure out how to make this composition Great. You see, I mean, you are stuck in that position. You need to make it either wider or narrower. I don't know, but you need to show what the client is looking for, and you want to make the composition nice. This is a great fit for this. They can
Mm-hmm.
get back to you. You can give them feedback. Add this, put that, lighting here, there. The other one is um, I need to tell you like a quick story in my workflow 2012. So I was doing images. Basically, I mean, I am also an architect, so I get the 3D model, I start building, finalize it, see if there is anything missing, put materials, put lighting, then put the camera, see how it looks like, move it here, there, add a tree here. Maybe the tree doesn't fit the second camera, then I will move the tree.
And then you will move the camera because
Yeah,
now the tree is not fitting anymore.
absolutely. So, and in 2012, I mean 2010, I knew Alex Roman, I mean the video.
Mm-hmm.
And 2012, I did have some time. The war has started, and we did not have that much work, and I wanted to do something extra. Then I started to like make 3D animation in the same style, and I noticed that all his animation, like either zoom in, zoom out, pan, whatever it is, pan and zoom, they start and end with a great composition.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that, and I wanted to start with the composition, not start with the 3D, then texture, then the lighting. And that was a huge improvement in my work. Starting with the composition in mind, and then whatever you change later, it's going to be a minor change, not a
Mm-hmm.
big change. So maybe people who are doing the stuff technically, it means like they dive deep into the project from the beginning. They forget everything about the composition, and when they send those like sketches or drafts to the clients, they just make quick renders. You
Mm-hmm.
see, but it's not well studied. On the other side, if you start with a composition and you have a very well crafted composition, it doesn't matter how bad the sketch is, the building is always going to look somehow semi finished.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
those two groups could be a good fit, I think, for
Yeah.
they could really get the benefit from the community.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Great. Let me see if we have any comments. So, Gabor, can I just drop my image within the chat? Absolutely. Just, I mean, that was the goal, is to
Mm-hmm.
have the image in the chat. Yes, please do it. So, let's see what else do we have. We have. So, Gabor is going to copy paste his image. Let's wait for his image. Yeah, cool. So, tell me about the timing. When do you plan to
The
launch this thing?
plan is to launch it before the end of February.
Mm-hmm.
So before the end of of February, the base of the, I mean, actually, in the next couple of weeks, the base of everything will be ready, will be prepared. The idea is to create some sort of wait list or a form that people can fill out,
Yeah.
join, and then subscribe when the community is actually live.
Mm-hmm.
The first month, so the whole March, I will still launch it as a discounted price, and after March, the price will stay as a standard fee. I'm not really sure about the pricing yet. I'm still thinking about it and doing some research, so bear with me. Everyone that it's here can just get back to me and I'll tell them. Anyone that's interested can DM, send me a message directly. I'm preparing everything, so I will prepare the spreadsheet with the details and so on. So when the form is ready, I can share that with them. And any question, any doubt, or anything, also they can send me a message, and I'm happy to reply anytime I can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
perfect. So we have two images. Okay.
Hmm.
And we have Megan Grant. So she said, "This is the first time I've sat in on one of these sessions, and it has been great to hear your insights." Great. She, Matteo. So this has resonated with her.
It's
Um,
great.
I'm sharing my screen just to show the images
Yeah.
that Gavin has shared. Let me screen share. Yeah. So we have this image.
Yeah. Again,
So Gabor, sorry, Gabor. Yeah,
Gabor. Nice. It's like the details are really nice here. I'm not gonna say that, but Anis, what is the first thing you see if you squint your eye? If you squeeze them, or if you look like if you go a step back, what is the
yeah. I
first
see
thing you
the
see?
flowers. Then they see the window.
So
Flowers window. Oh, the light on the right side.
that's it. That's it. That's it. So if I squint my eye, and this is an exercise that everyone can do. So if I do this and I almost like a tiny
Yeah,
line in my eyes, I see that triangle. The triangle is good, but imagine if you manage to have some sort of similar highlight in the center, in the door. Imagine where you have that door that I guess is the entrance of the villa. Imagine if you manage to have that sort of lighting there. So you can frame a composition with shadows in the foreground with a tree that you already did here. But I see that you have a strip of light in the paving
yeah,
that it's nice, but imagine if you punch that lighting towards the center of the image. This is an image that's completely done. Great. It looks fantastic. The 3D is nicely done. Vegetation is nicely done. Probably the foreground and the flowers are a little bit too powerful and punchy, because then you have on the grass you have shadow, right? So the flowers are good, but are almost overpowering the composition, and they kind of take a lot of attention. What I would do is, yes, to have the flowers there, but also have some sort of flowers closer to the building. This would lead the eye on the first step of the flowers in the foreground, and then you get the second same color closer to the building. Maybe you have a ping of the same color on the first floor, and where you have the chairs inside, I guess those are chairs. Maybe you have a lady dressed with the same pink color. This way, you're gonna create the same storyline done with the color that would lead the eye in. The first thing I would fix, I know you have to re-render that, sadly. I know, Gaber, don't kill me, but it's for the best of the image. But the first thing I would fix is to remove that triangular, really punchy light on the side and find a way to push it towards the entrance down, or some sort of internal lighting. But the 3D is really nice. Um, yeah, I mean,
Matteo.
I can find comments to give, but this
Yeah,
image is actually
I
really
think that's enough.
nice.
But like, would you mind telling me where are the chairs?
I think at first floor,
First floor. Okay.
behind the glass
Yep.
balustrade.
Yeah.
I think it's a glass balustrade. But imagine I have a lady with a tiny, not tiny, like a light pink jacket or
Yeah.
shirt or
Something
something that might be an additional nice
nice. Okay. Nice.
nice thing.
Yeah.
And
So that was.
also, sorry,
Mhm.
one thing, but this goes back to the composition. I would make it a little bit more spacious, especially on the right hand side. On the right hand side, you have a lot of elements, and the corner that almost touches the frame. So I would literally just expand that more, and then you can crop it and just reduce the size of it to a similar thing.
Mhm. Yeah. So that was one. This is the second one.
Nice. Again, this is really nice. I like it. I like the lighting. I like the mood. Um, I like the details. The 3D is very nicely done. One thing I'm a little bit it's not really clear to me is why everything is lit. You have everything in the scene is lit at almost at the same value. So you have the lighting on top of the table, and then you have the kitchen aisle behind, and then you have the kitchen even further away. Almost everything is lit at the same exact intensity. So interiors are usually like this. Interiors most of the times should be bright and should be lively, and you cannot really play with mood or crazy atmospheres, right? So I would just give a little bit more intent to what is the main element here. Maybe it's the whole kitchen and the table, or maybe it's just the table. I would try to kind of lower the intensity of a few lights to punch it where I need it more. And the second thing I don't understand is the kitchen island looks tiny, like looks very small. The proportion of that kitchen island looks very small. I don't know if the glass. I know that like it's a matter of distance, but at the same time, it's very strange. I don't know. I don't really know how to catch it. I think it's the size of the thickness of the band of the island that makes it really. I don't know. But
Mm.
it's a center composition, so we cannot really play a lot with that. Materials are great. Furnitures are well placed. When you do a center composition, you should have this. So you should have a very linear and very regular illustration. That's usually the best way to make it work. Almost like diagram in a way. Yeah, it's nice. Very
Yeah,
nice.
great, great. So, so he says thank you while you are giving the feedback. With the time delay, I think he won't share any other image. It's like, yeah, I mean, the feedback is great. Let me refresh the page. I don't know if it is like me, and now I'm getting the comment on the first one. Yes, we have another more images. Let
Yay.
me share my screen again. I don't know, Matteo, tell me about your time.
No, no,
Uh,
no, no. We still have time. Don't worry.
so Ahmad Amir, so we have this. So Windows. Now I
You know,
quickly like.
in this one, it's not even the window, but what it's um, difficult for me is that the bed is cut at the bottom,
Mm.
and it makes the image very heavy, very, very heavy at the bottom, almost like the bed is falling off the illustration.
Okay.
Leaving a finger below the bed would make it a lot more spacious, lot more airy, let's say. So first thing I would do is to take the target of the camera and move it down, because the ceiling is nice, but you basically have 50% of the image is ceiling, so we don't really need to show that much amount of information. Move it down slightly so you have more space at the bottom of the illustration. And I mean, in this case, the windows are a little bit less distracting because are kind of pointing in, like are a little bit closer to the center. So it, it's a little bit less annoying, let's say. Not annoying, but it's a little bit less distracting. So, and the other thing is, I don't really understand this design too much because it looks like a tiny tower really high in the sky because you have a very low horizon line over there. So I would imagine that the tower was very thin and very tall, but this is a design thing, so I don't really know the design of this project here. But um, yeah, this is another nice image in terms of the 3D. 3D is really good. I would change bits and pieces if I have to, like the pendant lamp on the top left, the orange pendant lamps on the top left. Um, I don't know. It feels almost like not the best place to place them. But again, the design is not something I can really comment on. But the most important thing is just to make more space for the bed at the bottom.
Okay, perfect. So the second image is this. Oh, the same
Ah,
thing,
the
but
same
like,
thing. Now, this is for everyone. White is your enemy. White and black in any illustrations are your enemy. So if you have something that is too white or too bright or too dark, you have a problem. Like you have usually a problem. So in this case, and it pops even more because it's very contrasted. In this case, you have the lights in the ceiling that are pure white, plus the white in the table lamp. Those whites are extremely catchy. Again, if you squint your eyes, that's the first thing you see. So either you lower them a lot or you create a little bit more of a glow around them. But I would remove them because they are not really adding anything to the illustration. You have a very nice lighting without them. I don't think you need them. Or hide them, or just make them hidden. So you can still project lighting to the ground, but a little bit less intense, let's say. But
okay.
composition is the same thing as before.
Mm.
Target down, more space below the bed.
Yeah, so he said the structure was part of the tutorial. It did honestly feel awkward to me as well. Yeah, I mean, let me stop sharing, just refresh the page.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So let me read the comments again. We have from Gabor as well, a new image. This one looks nice, but like I'm not going to say anything. It's not my expertise area. So,
That's
yeah, this,
another really nice image.
yeah,
So this it's in a way it's a little bit similar to the previous one. I know that you need to showcase the ceiling and you need to showcase the ground, but it almost feels like the ceiling is the main hero. It kind of feels too much. Feels like too distracting, and at the same time you need to show the fireplace, so it's an important thing. I wonder if a slightly longer lens, still keeping a bit of a distance between the carpet and the paving at the bottom, that works really nicely and it's actually very nice. I wonder if it might help a little bit the composition itself. Materials, lighting, I cannot really say anything because it's really nice, really good image. Maybe the glass, the reflection in the glass can be slightly more pumped up compared to the outside. So where you have the outside window open on the left hand side, and then you have the window in front of you, they look almost identical. So I would try to probably punch the reflection slightly more where you have the glass. Not much, but a little bit. But yeah, it's nice furnitures, nice tones. Again, this, I don't really know the project, I don't really know the place, I don't really know the designer. Cannot really give pointers too much into the design thing here. But I like how the flows of the curtain comes in. So this is a very nice image, a very well done image.
Matteo, would you mind if I add one thing? I mean,
Yeah.
two things I noticed, but like one thing, one of them is something you always do perfectly, which is the depth of the image.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the background, the city, is like it's very clear, and on this distance, it could be like even in the morning hour. You see, it looks like it is a morning hour.
Mm-hmm.
It might be we need to have like a little bit of fog, so we have like more grades in the image. I don't know if I mean if I'm going to edit this image, I will do it in this way. Also, the second thing is we have a fireplace, a sun, and we have a light on the right side.
Yeah.
Maybe if we turn off the light on the right side, the image will be like completely focused
I
on.
mean, even more than that, it's probably I would probably replace the sky. Replacing the sky would give already like a little bit more of a neutral tone. So a little bit more. As you said, the lighting looks like early morning, right? But the sky is extremely deep blue, cyan almost. So I
Okay.
would try to desaturate the sky,
Mm.
push the buildings back. A gradient from bottom to top would help usually. Um, Sky mode is saturated, and in that way you have the background that it is actually a background further away. Then you have your main hero at the foreground, and then if you tone down the lights, maybe where you have the table on the right hand side. I mean, those fireplaces usually are always on, even during the daylight. So I wouldn't consider that too much of a distraction. But I would try to push back the background, replace the sky with something different, and
Yeah.
I really like the lighting overall internally. If I remove completely, sorry, let me do that quickly. If I remove the background, the image is perfect. It's just the background that I would just rework slightly,
Mm.
and the sky as well. Yeah, but it's a nice one.
Great, great. So again, I need to refresh the page. Yeah. So Gabo said it was a test work where the camera was locked. I found it very wide as well. Thank you, Matthew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Skew.
Okay. Perfect. So let me see if we have any other comments. We don't have any other comments. So I think it was really great session to talk about these little things because I do believe when you have a perfect image, or at least you are trying to perfect your image, basically you are trying to perfect your service, your
Mm-hmm.
product, what you are offering to the client. And although I am helping with marketing, with sales, or whatever it is related to the business side, but like I cannot help a bad quality. I mean, if someone is having bad quality, it's very tough for me to provide feedback. Yes, I can
Mm-hmm.
provide feedback on communication, outreach, sales, marketing, how to speak to the client, whatever it is. But like, if the quality is not great, the client won't really
Yeah.
believe in what you are saying.
Yeah,
So
that's very true.
marketing should not be the main thing. The main thing is the product, the service, and marketing should be like just the one that will show your great work to the client.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Matteo, thank you really very much. It was a great session also for me. I learned a little bit about how to look at an image.
How to squint your eyes.
Yeah, yeah. It is something I don't do usually. And anyone who's interested in Matteo's community or coaching service, reach out to him directly. We might have you maybe in March, maybe in April again, and we maybe hear more about your community, how
Yeah,
it's evolving, all
I'd
that.
love to.
Um, thank you very much. In case we have any other questions, do we have another questions? Nothing. Um, great.
Nice.
Uh,
Thank you very
yeah.
much, Anis. It's
Thank you very
been,
much,
as
everyone.
usual,
Thank you much,
fantastic.
Matteo. See you next week on Wednesday.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, just 1 second.
What